Okay, good afternoon. Today's speech, my name is Johnny Patterson. Today's speech is on real estate and two methods on getting money through real estate. The first method would be buying. Everybody know the market fluctuates. It goes ups and down. Back in the late 80s, the housing market was pretty okay. Houses were buying at 14 to 16% interest rate, and still you had buyers buying houses. Now with the interest rate at 3% or 4%, you still have buyers buying houses. So you can see that it's a risk taking, but it's also a market making. Now, say you have a house that's $5K. An investor, now, behooves you know, being an investor, you should not buy anything that's over 75% of the market value. So as an investor, you start off with 75%. Now, with that 75% of 100K, which will reduce the house value to 75. Now, give and take $10,000 worth of home repairs, which will reduce that 75 until 65. So 65 is really what the investor is offering on a 100K house. Now, with that in mind, you would take that house that you bought for 65 and put it back on the market. Now, when you put it back on the market, you're gonna try to go for the 100K value. I mean, that's smart to go with the 100K value. But in terms, being that, you got to take consideration of the closing costs, which is 10%. Now, 10% of 100K is roughly 90. Now, you break that 10% down, you got 6%, which is the agent, 3%, which is the buyer, and then 1%, which is taxes. That will reduce that 100K, like I say, down to 90K. Now, with that 90K, as an investor, you got to realize you pay 65 for the house. You take that 65 and then factor in the 10 that you paid for repairing the house, which will make that 75. Take that 75, subtract it from that 90, which will give you a $15,000 profit, what goes in your pocket. That is one way in buying, the buying method. Now, there's another method, which we call flipping loan term. Now, the flipping loan term, it will still go the same process, but at this time, you will rent your house. Now, when you rent your house, it really based on the neighborhood that your house sits in. Now, some houses, like for example, I'm gonna use my neighborhood. My neighborhood, I can rent my house for $1,000 due to the fact of how the houses are appraised inside this neighborhood. Now, with it being rented $1,000 a month, take out $200 for repairs, or it can go in your escrow, which will give you $800. Now, with that $800 times 12, which will give you, if my math correct, which will give you 96. 96 per year. With that in term, that would be, if I'm not mistaken, that would be your profit that you receive, 96. But at the same time, you can see how you can make money doing real estate. Now, yes, it's a hit and miss game, but in actuality, it's something that you can invest in because you're an investor. You can see it, you can feel it. Nobody can just take it up and run off with it. It's something you can pass it down to your loved ones or anything like that. Another thing with the housing market is with you saying you don't want to do the buyer thing and you do the written property thing, you also got to look at far as your rental. You are responsible in the repairs, and then also you have to take in consideration your tenants. Not everybody are good tenants. So in terms, you can see that, like I said earlier, there are some ups and downs in the market. If there's any questions, thank you for my presentation, and hopefully we can buy more houses in the near future.